So, do you guys remember when I said to you last year that this year is like major in terms of transformation? Something really huge is happening this month. Forget about Mars K2 conjunction, okay? Just like put that aside. I want you to think about this, okay? We just had Neptune go retrograde July 4th in Pisces, 7 degrees. We are going to have Saturn go retrograde on July 13th at 7 degrees. Okay, they're going retrograde together in the same degree in Pisces, in the 12th house. Why is this really important? Well, because something absolutely phenomenal is going on, and you could only make it even better just through awareness. And this is why I'm sharing this video with you, because I want you to be aware of what's happening. Because when you're aware of what's happening, you can make freaking major breakthroughs, really, really major breakthroughs. And I want to help you do that. So, the 12th house, for those of you that don't know or not, too familiar with astrology, the 12th house represents the, subconscious mind. It represents isolation, like retreats, hospitals, prisons, places of solitude. It represents loss, liberation, release, letting go of people, places, and things, material things that, separating it from the ego. It's also the house of meditation, spiritual awakening, divine connections, the house of secrets, the hidden self. It's the house of, past lives, the astral realm when you do astral travel. But it's also associated, with hidden expenses, leakages, hidden enemies. However, in order to attain liberation, right? Soul liberation, you need the 12th house, because the 12th house is the gateway to moksha. It's the gateway to liberation. Okay, and both these two planets, Neptune retrograde and Saturn, which is about to go retrograde, are going retrograde in Uttarabhadra Pada nakshatra. Now this nakshatra is really huge because it's ruled by Saturn. Okay, and it's profoundly karmic, mystical. It's transformative in a really big way. And what Neptune retrograde, not only does, it's going to heighten your psychic perception, your psychic awareness, your dream state. You start to go more inward when the planet is going retrograde. However, it exposes a lot of spiritual confusion, emotional denial, and when it does this, it's calling you to heal illusions around victimhood and escapism. Okay. It also brings a lot of visions, downloads, psychic flashes into your mind, into your space, okay? Saturn retrograde, on the other hand, brings a lot of like karmic accountability, because the 12th house is the house of undoing, all right? So, you're going to be facing your subconscious fears. You're going to be facing the fact that you've been avoiding some things, avoiding some patterns. You're going to be facing your past life karma. And so here, Saturn is really powerful because it's really demanding that you discipline your spiritual practice and you mature your connection to the unseen world. Okay. Now, when Saturn goes retrograde, it also like makes you revisit the internal structure within, so where you're like resisting surrender, resisting to the work, Saturn's going to push you and say, hey, we got to do something right now. So together with these two, it's a real deep spiritual awakening, because don't forget, Uttarabhadra nakshatras symbolized by the back of the legs of a funeral cot, and that means death and rebirth. You're on your way out, so you could be rebirthed into your new life, not too shortly after. But this also represents, and a lot of people don't know this also represents Kundalini awakening, the cosmic sleep, liberation from material illusion. Think about Neo in the Matrix, okay? And it also, there's a lot of hidden karmas that get really released through doing like really deep inner work at this time and period in your life. There's a lot of emotional purging. So a lot of stuff is like coming out. Now, something that a lot of people know or may not know, Saturn is about boundaries. Okay. Neptune blurs the boundaries. So the fact that they're going retrograde together, you ever hear the thinning of the veil? That's right now. that veil is thinning right now for all of us, which is huge, because this is allowing us access to information that normally we can't, or we have trouble attaining because of karma or outside influences, people, situation, environment, etc., etc., etc. So what this really means is we're in a deep karmic cycle where things are being reviewed, especially from the past lives, especially from our ancestral lineage, okay? And you're being called to like really purge the old suffering, purge the old wounds. And also you're being called to like purge all the freaking delusions around, you know, victimhood and sacrifice, okay? So a lot of things you start to really awaken this year because you realize that this is a time to heal. This is a rebirthing process right now that we're going through right now at this period. And so the message here that I'm trying to give you is go within during this retrograde cycle period. I have more in the retrograde. If you subscribe to my newsletters and my emails, you'll find it. It's also on my blog. If you go to astrodevi.com/blog, blog. And I want you could read information about the retrograde Saturn and Neptune there, the do's and don'ts and stuff like that to help you along the path, your spiritual journey. But I want you to understand that what is happening right now is we're being allowed to elevate our soul in a way where it's been kind of trapped in the physical body, in the material world. Because remember, all these years, if you're my age, you know, freaking 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2000s and 10s. There's been so much like illusion, Maya, materialism, you know, not seeing things, people, places for what they are, not seeing the world for what they are. And a lot of it's collapsing. And it's exciting because we are being given the opportunity to really elevate our soul and to live through our soul, to live out our soul's purpose, to make it happen. But the only way we could do that is if we start to do a lot of releasing of the negativity, negative thoughts, negative emotions, purging of all this stuff. Because that's how we let ourselves go. Remember, karma could be transformed through free will. If you've been watching my YouTube videos, you're going to know about that. I'm going to be posting some more videos this week. So make sure you follow, subscribe, like on YouTube. So it's really important, so important to take advantage of like everything that you can do to elevate yourself and to think of yourself in the best freaking way possible. Think about what you want the world to see you as. Think about how you want to see yourself as. Think about what it is that you want to do, where you want to be from a heart, soul level. Because once you start doing and you understand what the heck is happening now, it's like so much easier to elevate yourself, to make this world a better place. But the only way we can make this world a better place is if we make our inner world a better place. So the question is like, are you ready to do that? Are you ready to do that with me? Do you want to do that with me? You could obviously get a session with me, book a session with me. We could talk all about it. I'll give you a whole toolkit, tools, everything you need to know to elevate for this year. But you're being called. You know, this is, when I look back in astrology to see when was the last time this ever happened, I couldn't find it. It's like in the past 1,000 years, it hasn't happened. So we came in at this time. We are honored. You should feel honored to be coming in at this time to make the change, to do the work. Because what is about to happen once we finish crossing the road in 2025, big, huge things, miracles, new world could happen. Just a second, I'll be down. A new world could happen for every one of us, personally and globally, collectively. So if that's what you want, then come on board with me, Lissabeta at AstroDevi. Let's get to it. Let's do it together. Let's do the work. Let's make it happen. I'm ready. Are you ready? If you're ready, give it a like and leave me a comment. I'll see y'all soon.